Clutch, you need anything.
I do have one question.
We didn't mean right now.
Being a cadet in Starfleet Academy means being open to the people around you.
I've spent my whole life getting away from stuff, letting someone in. That's hard.
I want to be captain. I need to be captain.
I owe you something. It is coming just for you.
It's another draw at the World Cup. It's Czechia 1, South Africa 1. South Africa responding in the second half after going a goal behind early in this one to Boho Mokena, with the equalizing goal for South Africa. So it's a point apiece in this one, and given the shape of this Group A, it might not be a result that suits either side. Alongside Troy Deeney and Marco Messina, I'm Chris Wittingham. I think that probably is the story from the game. Both teams probably needed 3 points. They have difficult games coming up. If you look for Czechia, they still have to play Mexico, the hosts, in the final game of the group, and South Africa against a very good South Korea side. It's probably not a result that suited either team.
Do you want to take it? I think we're both going to say the same thing.
Go for it, Troy.
Terrible result for both. I think even worse for Czechia, but for where they were at. So many times they could have been better in the final third. But I don't think I've watched a game of football, a professional game of football, with more long shots in one game. Honestly, it was like watching kids' football. Do you know when you've got that kid who can kick it the furthest and they like shoot from everywhere? That was what the game was. Well done South Africa getting that penalty, but terrible game of football. Unfortunately for both, now they're playing for third place, and it could be who has the better goal difference out of these two. It's a terrible, terrible advert for the World Cup. When I think to the World Cup, I don't know about you, I think to the best teams playing the best. That was a terrible game of football.
And it felt like Czechia, they scored the first goal, and then they just sit in and invited too much pressure the entire second half. You still have to pose a threat. You still have to make sure that South Africa feels like, hold on one occasion we could score a goal. They allowed all this pressure to build, and then you're asking for a moment like that to happen, for a handball inside the box, the one time that they shoot from closer distance, South Africa get their moment. It's their first goal that they've been waiting for in 16 years, so it felt like South Africa had to get on the score sheet. I think they looked better in the second half when Mofokeng came in. He came in right away. They made those adjustments, certainly pressure for them. But as you both mentioned, I mean, I don't think we're going to see these teams going very far. They're not...
It's a shame as well, because historically they're both great teams, great nations, and we're seeing a poor product that I don't think reflects the people and the countries personally.
Well, that's part of the conversation, especially around South Africa, is that they were probably not put in the best position to succeed by their coach, right? To allow them to express their attacking ability, to put pressure on. Yes, you have a difficult opening match against Mexico, against the host nation, yet you could still try to see where you're trying to go. You can make the changes earlier to not play a back five and to try to ask more questions, bring on your more talented players, the guys that could dribble, that could create something. Czechia, I think we knew what they were through qualifying. Half of their goals came from set pieces. They were always sort of that team. But yeah, I share the same opinion as you, and it's a little bit disappointing, and another draw in the World Cup, which is something we're...
Yeah, it's worth discussing.
Italian football.
You see, look, we're at the world stage now. You can't make fun of the World Cup now.
Italy is at the World Cup in spirit. So that actually is worth discussing, guys. So this is the 25th game of the World Cup so far. There have been 10 draws. Wow. Do you think this is as a result of the new format and the fact that you can kind of, as long as you're grinding points, you're still a victory away from getting to the next stage of the tournament?
I would actually go a little bit further than that. I think because of the new format, we're getting lesser teams in and lesser quality teams because of just, the qualifying was a little bit different and more teams involved. I think the only draw that is like a great story is the Cape Verde one against Spain, where you're like, wow.
DR Congo too.
No, because I fancy DR Congo. They're a good team. I think if you've watched them in obviously they played Jamaica, so I had a bit more of a closer eye on it. They're a good team. They're set up, they're foundationally solid, and they try and hit you on the counter-attack. I think they're going to catch a few people by surprise this year. But the only one for me is Cape Verde. When you look at it, you go, wow, against Spain, people would have had like 5-0, 6-0, 7-0 in their accumulators or parlays. Sorry, I'm in America now. But yeah, I think that was the one when you're like, wow, that's a real big upset. The rest have been a lot of poor teams not really having their rhythm and their flow. Even when you look at Portugal, they haven't been great in their attacking sense. So, yeah, disappointing start, and the nerves of a World Cup are clearly on show for everyone. It
might be more important to not lose than it is to win at this point. We keep saying, I think the whole narrative around, oh, is this team going to go through the group stage? We can't even ask that question anymore because more teams go through the group stage at this point. It's a disaster if you don't get through the group stage because of the third place teams that go in there. So maybe we are seeing a little bit of those nerves of, all right, let's just make sure we don't lose. Let's not throw this away. We still don't know. We thought you were going to need 4 points to get through in the third place positions. But now with how many draws there are, that might come down a little bit, right? Chris, you know better than I know.
The people who did the modeling for this before the tournament, just based off the format, basically you get to 3 points and your goal differential is -1 or better, you're almost certain to go through. And I think a lot of teams are approaching games in that way. As long as you say, it is sort of a very Italian mindset. As long as we don't lose a big game, then we're in a good position. But I think that absolutely is playing a role in teams not necessarily taking the handbrake off, especially in the final 10, 15 minutes. I think as it relates Czechia in this match in particular, they're up 1-0. They were up 1-0 against South Korea as well. They've thrown away 5 points from winning positions, and I think part of that is the sort of conservative approach that they take once they acquire a lead.
Yeah, and this is what I said at half-time. You set up with a shape and a formula to disrupt the other team. I say this a lot about some of the Italian teams, right? In Europe, they set up to be hard to beat. We know we're going to be in a low block. Tactically, that's great. But at some point, you have to impact the other side of the field. So when you go 1-0 up, you can't just go progressively deeper, because you're just inviting trouble. And then as soon as that goal goes, it's 1-1, what happens? They start going attacking with more pace. 7 minutes left. The game's passed you by. And I just think for two occasions now where you've been in winning leads in a World Cup and you've thrown it away, I think you've thrown it away. That's the hard part. They haven't been broken down. The other teams haven't played great football. It's like, oh, my God, how did that happen? You've sat back, you've invited pressure, and unfortunately, you just can't hold the dam and all the water's come flushing in. And
I think any team that wants to do something at the World Cup, they're going to learn that you're rewarded for the courage. Like, at least football today, the way that football is, it's not the same as before. The teams that are more courageous, I think you're the ones that eventually, it's more of a risk to sit back and keep inviting that pressure than it is anything else. And I think if we just overarching theme as well, when we're talking about some of these upsets, there are less smaller teams in the world now. And I think some of the big dogs are starting to realize it now that, okay, maybe the Europeans and the South, you dominated for a long time, but the rest have caught up. The rest have gotten there tactically, technically, coaching-wise as well. I think they've improved to a really good level where maybe you underrate the team in the first game or through qualifying, and then you learn really quickly that it's going to be more difficult than you might have imagined.
I don't mean to make this about Italy, but I think it's a great point. If you'd have asked any Italian person, right, you've got Bosnia. That's who you got to play to get through. Every single Italian would have went, I'll bite your hand off. But when you watch the game, it's like, actually, these are a lot better than we thought they are. And I think that is the case with DR Congo. There's so many teams now that you go, in years gone by, that was, to use Grella's word, that's a layup, we're going to win, it's how many we're going to score. Now it's hold on. Turkey would have been thinking the same about Australia. We beat them, then it's America.
Calhanoglu said it. You remember? He said, we will dominate them. And I think it goes to that point. And it's good. It's a good thing. And I guess that is one of the good things about the expanded format, right? It allows for these teams, even Uzbekistan. I know Uzbekistan lost yesterday, but they
competed very well against Colombia.
And even technically, they had some really good players. They lack experience. They lack composure in the attack in the final third. They played against Colombia, who we know how great Colombia were as well. But I think that's a good thing about this format is you're getting more teams and maybe it can dilute a little bit. But I think we are seeing the progression of football where some of these nations that we're not as aware of or we're starting to learn are getting a lot better, and that gap is closer and closer.
And just to add pure balance to the football inside, you can be defensively solid. You can have a real good shape, be really hard to beat. Arsenal just won the Premier League with that. But you know what you have to have on the other side? You have to be able to give them a threat, give them something to think about, to be scared about. And when you look at Czechia, 2 games in a row now scored, it's like, that'll do. Let's hold on. Let's hope. If you're going into any game with hope, you're struggling. You have to have a plan. You have to be front-footed. And I was very critical of England yesterday. But second half, they get after it. They make attacking subs. In years gone by, we'd make defensive subs. And ultimately, you go on and win the game. Play forward, run forward, tackle. It's not very difficult.
Did you hear what Kane said after the match? They asked him what Tuchel said in halftime. And Tuchel said, guys, what are we scared of? Let the shackles go. Like, we need to have more courage. Well, if we lose, okay, it's an opening game. We can lose. And I think that freed them up. I love that Harry Kane came out and said that. And I think maybe in the past that was an issue for certain teams. So I guess England is the example a lot of teams can look forward to.
Yeah, and to try and be progressive and go and attack the game.
Hurt you to say that. That hurt you to say.
It's coming home. I'm with you. It's all you. You can't mess this up.
Czechia won, South Africa won. One of the things that you mentioned, Troy, is just the number of shots from long distance in the game. We have the shot chart just to illustrate just exactly how many of those attempts that South Africa took from longer range. And you can see shots closer to the center circle than they are to the penalty area. It is absolutely wild. Obviously, the one that goes in is the penalty, but it is a lot of shots off target, wild efforts from South Africa. And if they didn't get more from this game, it's probably because of that.
Well, 4 shots, all the ones you can see there in the box. 2 on the edge of the box, and the rest is just long distance pot shots. And again, I'm not a massive fan of stats, as everyone knows and who works with me, but I suppose you put the XG on that for the amount of shots they had, it'd probably be about 1. It's frightening. And again, look at the one there. It's basically on the halfway line.
Yeah.
And someone's thought, do you know what? There's no better option. I'm just going to shoot.
Unless you're Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
Don't even think about hitting it from that sort of range.
To me, it's crazy.
You're hoping to pull off something spectacular.
Or if you have Zidane in net, maybe that's what they were looking at Czechia. I thought they could get a howler or something.
And anyway, for Czechia and South Africa, probably not a result that helps them progress, but it does finish 1-1 in this one. We have much more World Cup coverage on the way. Stay with us on the Golazo Network.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others, but they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Some news to bring you involving Lionel Messi's father, Jorge Messi. In a statement released Thursday, the Messi family says the 68-year-old is, quote, currently going through a health-related situation at this time. He's under medical supervision, recovering and progressing favorably within the condition he is experiencing. The update comes after Lionel Messi appeared emotional during Argentina's match against Algeria in their World Cup opener, later saying, quote, it was something completely unrelated to football. I went through some difficult days. Jorge Messi, Lionel Messi's father and longtime agent, has been the driving force behind his son's career, helping guide his rise from Argentina to global stardom. The family says any further updates will come through official channels. For more on this, I caught up with Guillaume Balaguer earlier. And joining us now for more on this story is Guillaume Balaguer, one of our correspondents. And Guillaume, why did the Messi camp feel the need to put out this statement now?
The world had gone mad. The world, that is the media, the social media, especially in Argentina. There were stories that were coming out that were simply not true. None of it based on information, because as the statement clearly says, only the people that are close to Jorge Messi and to the family know exactly what's happening and the details of it. And it just became the story of the day. And they know that this happens very often, that in the Messi world, all of a sudden, a movement of whatever type becomes the center of the conversation. But in this case, they need and demand privacy. It is a health issue that has been disclosed. Of course, many would relate the tears of Leo Messi and he himself saying that he didn't have to do with football, the emotions that he was feeling during the game, to what is happening with Jorge. That is, I suppose, what everybody will be thinking. But beyond that, the family is asking for privacy, and they are a family like any other family in the world. They are asking for privacy, and we're going to give them privacy. We should.
They are a family like any other family in the world, but this is also an incredibly close connection that the two of them have shared. You've covered this connection over the course of the 20 years plus that Messi's been involved in football at Barcelona and now, of course, in Miami. But can you just describe the nature of the relationship between Jorge and Lionel Messi and how much Jorge has played a role in shaping his career?
I'll take you to the time when in Barcelona, a 12-year-old Messi was asked by his family, his dad, his mom, and there were present witnesses, his two brothers and sister. And Messi's parents asked him, what do you want to do? He had been a bad period at Barcelona, broke his leg, couldn't play officially for bureaucratic reasons, and he said, I want to stay. What that meant, of course, was that the family split. Mom and the two brothers and sisters had to go back to Rosario, and he stayed with his dad. The problem is when you have your dad next to you and he's your agent, the sports psychology says that you don't know who you're talking to sometimes. Is it my dad? Is it my agent? Is it my representative? And that confusion perhaps kind of define their story, but there was something else that was bigger than all of that. It was the love for each other. All of a sudden, these two immigrants from Argentina were living on their own. Dad will play the PlayStation with Leo, who was very, very good at, and will lose every single game, but, you know, it's what he had to do. And then at some point, especially on Sundays, when everybody that was from away from Barcelona could go back to their families, but Leo couldn't do that, couldn't go back to his mom and brothers and sisters. He will hide his head under the pillow and cry so his dad wouldn't hear him. So they had a very, very close relationship from then on. Dad was deceived by many people along the way, but trying to protect his son is the biggest priority. And then, of course, he had all the conversations that needed to have for once it became clear that Barcelona didn't want Leo, for him to go to Paris, eventually to go to Miami, and he has been his biggest advisor, his biggest supporter, and Jorge keeps saying, I don't want my son to retire, because if he does, it's just going to be the end of an era that started a long time ago, around that table when he was 12, and before that, when they actually flew from Rosario first to Buenos Aires, and from Buenos Aires to Barcelona, him and his dad first.
It is very much his life's work. This is a speculative question, I suppose, but based off of what you know about their relationship, when you see the emotion that Messi demonstrates while also playing very well, how do you think this situation, and of course now these seemingly errant reports, will be weighing on Lionel as he continues on in this World Cup?
So if we follow what the statement says, there is a health issue with Jorge Messi, and obviously it's something that Leo is very aware of, and obviously has affected him emotionally, as we saw the tears after the first goal, and how he's holding his own emotions during the anthem earlier on. And yet footballers have got this ability, incredible ability in my eyes, of moving into the zone, into a place that is only theirs, in which they become the professionals, they become the footballers that do play a game. Sports psychology says that sometimes, say, golfers or tennis players, when they come out, for whatever reason, they come out of that zone, is when they play their worst, because they then kind of have to think about what they're doing. Not in the case of when you are in the zone. And Leo managed somehow to get into that part of his brain that allowed him to understand the game, what the game required, to score a hat trick, and you know, to somehow leave the emotions to a side. But you know that Leo, once he crossed that wide line and gets into the pitch, he's that monster that can do that if you like. But when he comes out of it, he's just a very humble man, family man, and it must be difficult times for him and everybody else at the Messi family.
And we do, of course, send our best wishes to Jorge, to Lionel, and to everyone involved with the situation. Guillaume Balaguer covering this story for us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And that's Guillaume Balaguer with the latest on this story. And Marco, you said it while we were listening to him talk. This all began because there were erroneous reports of Jorge Messi's passing on social media, and this is a statement to sort of clarify that. And it's fairly disgraceful that that happens sort of without any facts behind it, and you have to come out and clarify a story that affects you so personally.
Yeah, I feel terrible for the Messi family for having to, and for people and anyone to report on something on a family matter, a health-related family matter, or somebody that you don't know, and for it to build up, and these things are reported and sent in group chats. I think that's disgraceful. And the only thing I could say is that I wish them the best. I wish I'm sending positive thoughts and prayers his way. And I think Ian put it beautifully at the end, that it is absolutely incredible that they are able to separate these emotions. And we don't realize sometimes what these players are going through. So I feel bad that they had to release a statement.
Yeah. I also think as well that needs to be more done as well, right, for just putting false information out there. Just
accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't just start a rumour about someone passing away and then it generates that much traction now that we have to talk about it, and more importantly, that the family have to talk about it. He's still in hospital, as I just alluded to. He's still getting care. He's still, obviously, it looks like he's trending towards being okay and healthy again. But do you think that helps the family? Do you think that helps the people in the hospital? Nothing about that story is good or remotely positive or helps anybody. And, you know, I lost my father. My dad died at 47. So to hear, you know, somebody having to keep their mind on it, not only somebody, one of the greatest players we've ever seen, with the most spotlight on him, having to deal with his father being in the hospital, and then also having to now have a conversation where it's like, I think we might have to put a statement out because somebody online decided it was good to say that your father had passed away. Like, disgusting. And it generally makes me hate the internet for that type of reason. And the internet is positive for so many things, keeps people connected, we find out loads of information. But when you get stuff like that, it makes you think, what's the world actually come to? Like, what are we dealing with in today's day and age? In my day, the younger day, you just slap that person and wouldn't do it again. But unfortunately, you have to put up with this nonsense.
We learned a valuable lesson in kindergarten. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Nobody would ever want another person to speculate about their family. So I think we could probably use a little bit more of that in the world. And
who are you? Who gave you the right?
Yeah.
Even if, let's go, God forbid that doesn't happen for a very long time, even if that was true, who are you to tell the world? The family should be the ones that, like...
Exactly.
Yeah, like, yeah. For me, everything about that makes me just hate humanity at that point. Like, just go back to being nice people, or the old school way, we just have a tear up. so I should have did him. Do you remember you used to mess about as a kid? And, like, you wouldn't even be your parents. The guy across the street was allowed to give you
kept you in check.
Yeah, your parents would like that. Don't do it. We need more of that in the world.
Some consequences.
Some consequences. And we can only reiterate once more that we wish the best to Lionel Messi and his family. We still have much more coming up on the World Cup on the Golazo Network. Stay with us.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
We have completed one full match day of the group stage of the World Cup, and these are some of the significant results that we saw throughout that first round. Curacao did get a goal, but lose to Germany by 7-1. Of course, the U.S. winning in their opener. Mexico won in their opener. Canada drew in theirs. England twice having to fight back a Croatia side that came from behind to win by 4-2.
We won. You didn't have to do all of that. England won 4-2. That's what you have to say.
You know, Croatia came back a couple times, made it difficult on you.
10 halftime score.
It made you sweat a little bit.
We got over all of that.
They were sweating.
And then Witty was like, oh, you know, they let a goal in here. We won 4-2.
We won the game. It was a very good second half performance.
I did hear you say Curacao scored against Germany, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's Curacao. These are slightly different expectations we have for these two nations.
Tomato.
All right,
let them enjoy it, Chris.
Yes, of course. So we're going to go through some of our superlatives through the first match day of the group stage, and also some of the teams disappointed as well. There's really only one surprise team that we can talk about, that being Cabo Verde getting that 0-0 draw against Spain, and what an extraordinary result that was. You thought maybe they're trying to limit the damage to 3 or 4-0. Instead, they get a point against Spain in their first ever game at the tournament.
Yeah, and well earned. I thought defensively, they were fantastic. Again, a lot has been made of the goalkeeper, and rightly so, not only from his performance, but also on Instagram. I think he's
13.6 million followers now.
Wow.
More than Bruno Fernandes.
What was he on, like 50,000 or something weird like that? But again, we just spoke about how the internet's bad, but then it shows how great the internet is. And I read something that his mother is coming now and all of that. So that shows the positive side of the internet. But I actually thought the framework that they had was fantastic. They defended really well. And they showed Spain to be one-dimensional. But you think that Spain are one of the favourites going into this, them and France with the bookies? They showed Spain to be very one-dimensional, that need pace and power in the wide areas. And if Lamine Yamal's not there, no one's really willing to take anything risky and try and have a bit of creative freedom. So I thought they were fantastic, and I'm glad for the goalkeeper. But for Cabo Verde, Cape Verde is what I used to call it as a kid, but now it's Cabo Verde, my fault. Cabo Verde, as a team and as a nation, have a real massive moment. And if they don't win any other game and they go home, for the next 20 years, they can talk about that game against Spain. So fantastic for them.
I think everyone was just so ready to dunk on this 48-team format, right? They're like, all right, we're going to wait for Spain to kill Cabo Verde. And to be honest, I thought the same thing. I thought Spain would. So the fact that they get the point, it just proves that you always have to be there 100%. You can't overlook opponent. A lot of the conversation we were having before, and then the storylines that have come out of it have just been absolutely beautiful to see. And for me, the biggest thing that I learned, though, is Spain. Without Nico Williams, without Lamine Yamal, they don't have that speed on the wings. And bigger picture, I'm looking at France as those are the two as the bookie favorites. France has way more depth in those positions 100%. Than Spain does.
One of the things you said, though, about Cabo Verde that has stuck with me, there was a journalist, Lars Sivertsen, who said that just because you don't know them, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It used to be that...
I thought the same about him.
All right, so let's move.
Your time is going to come. England wins one game, and all of a sudden, the confidence comes out.
All the insults
at halftime, 3 out of 10. And now it's 10 out of 10.
All right, on the subject of teams that perform well, let's get to our best team performances of the tournament. And our friends at SofaScore have put together their highest-rated teams of the tournament. And incredibly, Spain is second.
Troy?
Teacher? It seems like Troy has a comment about...
No, I'm trying to get him to move the screen closer. I have my glasses and I can't see properly. Sorry. Again, that's great.
Australia third.
I agree with that. I actually think the Germany one should be a lot lower because of the opposition, with the greatest respect to Curacao. But I think Sweden have done unbelievably well as well when you think that they struggled to even qualify. And America, for me, should be higher. America had a very, very, very good result, and one I wasn't expecting. I thought that was going to be a draw, but America just ran all over Paraguay.
Spain still in second despite the 0-0 is...
It is sort
of. I think it's more that should be the other way around, right? Should be Cape Verde at the top. See, now it says Cape Verde. Before it said Cabo Verde. Now it's Cape Verde. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Right? You would think it's such a terrible result.
It is sort of, I mean, obviously these are statistical ratings, and it's sort of an accumulation of statistics that they put together, but that wasn't a performance.
What are the statistics? Does anyone know?
Passes completed, and you know, they didn't give away possession very much, but if you're not incisive, then it doesn't particularly matter. So if you are to pick out your best team performance of that opening round, who was the team that stood out to you the most? And I'll start with you, Troy.
For me, it would be America.
I
think it would be America. I thought they had so much pressure coming into this. Again, you got the Pochettino, he's leaving, and what next? You've got Grella doing layups. You've got home nation. All of this pressure building into it, and also they didn't have a great 2 games before those pre-World Cup friendlies. Thought they handled the occasion really well. Yes, Paraguay were poor, but I think it's because America made them poor. They looked very fit, very aggressive. And also the goals that they scored were good goals. So surprising, but I thought they were going to be worse than they are. And I'm a fair man, can give America credit.
So USA was more impressive than England?
Do not try to be American.
USA, I'm just going by your logic. USA was more impressive than England?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Over the full duration of the 90 minutes. I mean, I don't think there was a team that dominated their opponent in quite the way that the United States did.
I agree. And also, Paraguay, America, it's a fair game. Us versus Croatia, you know.
Croatia finished third in the last World Cup and second in the World Cup before that.
Gap. Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Hey, you wasn't even in it, so let's stop talking about it. Do you remember last time Italy win?
Be quiet. This guy, again.
When's the last time you guys won a knockout round game?
All right. Chris. I thought you're supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to be the host.
You know, it's fun to pile on sometimes. All right, so Marco, who was your team that stood out to you the most?
It has to be Argentina. They were unbelievable against Algeria with Messi scoring the hat trick. We did a segment comparing them last World Cup and saying, how do you find more motivation to continue winning, right, after you won? Keeping a lot of the group together. Losing Angel Di Maria is a big one because he showed up in so many finals for Argentina.
Just won the penalty, didn't he?
Won the penalty, yeah, absolutely, in the game against France in the final. So it's more the motivational aspect. We've seen so many teams after they win World Cups. Germany, for example, they won 2014, then 2018 and 2022, 2 group stage exits. The list goes on and on. We keep saying nobody's been able to repeat since Brazil did in 1962. So just from that aspect, Argentina, the last World Cup, they lost to Saudi Arabia in their first match. I thought they looked really good. Scary for a moment when Algeria scored the goal, the 1-0, and then it was taken offside. So hard not to give the reigning champs their credit.
I think there's more of a ceiling for them to hit in the attack, but they gave up 0 shots on target in the game, and that midfield looks as dominant as ever. So a really solid performance from them.
A lot of guys, too, that didn't have great performances for their club teams as well. De Paul, McAllister, just question marks around them. How can they translate?
Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
All right, so let's move then to, I guess I'll mention my best team performance. I have to give it to Sweden. And you mentioned them as sort of a team that weren't even there. But, I mean, look, we go back to qualifying. They didn't win a single game in the qualifying group. They only get to the playoff because of their performance in the Nations League. They didn't really have a great build-up either. I thought they were pretty soundly beaten by Norway in a pre-World Cup friendly. And yet they came out, and yes, Tunisia were awful in the game. And they fired their manager since, but you have to beat what's in front of you. And that, in terms of, I think one of the cool things for them is they played Gyökeres and Isak together, and it seemed like they at the very least could combine in a few moments, and they could pose a threat. So in terms of going forward, I would say they're probably a team that certainly impressed enough where, okay, Sweden are at this tournament.
Why'd you roll your eyes, Troy?
Because we're talking about a team, like you just said, that's got Gyökeres, who everyone keeps telling me is top 5 strikers in the world, and Isak, who went for, 140 million? And they beat Tunisia, and it's a great performance. But anyway, what I would say is that I think Sweden are on a great... They're going to get the best of Isak because he went for that money. He got injured. He has a terrible season for his standards because he hasn't been able to play. Now he's going to be motivated to show everybody, oh, hey, I'm still one of the best guys about. And, yeah, I think he's using this as a pre-season to be ready to attack next year. They'll be going home soon anyway, so it'll be fine.
All right, let's move then to the best individual performances of the tournament so far. Who have you gone for? Let's actually first go through sort of position by position. The SofaScore team of the round. Vozinha, he doesn't get those Instagram followers for nothing. 9.7 rating from our friends at SofaScore. You see Just for New Zealand got the brace, Balogun the brace, Messi the brace. No Erling Haaland, no Harry Kane, sorry, Troy, in there. It's only Balogun who gets in there. Hwang In-beom for South Korea was absolutely fantastic. Some brilliant players here in our SofaScore team of the round. Pedri. Marco, though, who is what?
Pedri.
Yeah.
Pedri, yeah. Well, it's just a lot of passes completed. A lot of passes completed.
Yeah.
Even the position that he was playing.
SofaScore.
He was at his best.
Drop me out. What are we doing now?
I think the glaring miss there, again, the stats, whatever. What I saw with my eyes, not necessarily the stats. Boadi from Morocco was unbelievable.
Yeah.
18 years old. I believe he's the second youngest player to play in this World Cup. He bossed the midfield against Brazil.
You're missing it. He didn't play the passes left and right.
I don't care
I
don't care what the numbers say about Boadi. Boadi was unbelievable. And you think about being at such a young age, he had no fears in this match. It was not, I'm going to change my game. We're playing against Brazil. We're playing in the World Cup. It was sensational. He has a huge move, I believe, on the horizon, playing at Lille now, but I was extremely impressed with him.
Yeah, I mean, you're coming up against the yellow shirt of Brazil. I know it's not the same Brazil, and in midfield, maybe they weren't as good in the game, but it's still Brazil. And to play in your World Cup opener and play like that, absolutely extraordinary. Troy, who are you going for? Individual that stood out to you in the first match day.
Oh, Haaland. Haaland. I actually forgot for a brief second there, but early Haaland for me. Again, the level of competition wasn't great in Iraq, but when it's your opportunity to show on the big stage who you are, everyone's talking about Messi, Ronaldo, how great they've been, the longevity, Mbappe, Olise. You're hearing about all these players. I've not really heard too many people talk about Erling Haaland. And you think about just the amount of goals this guy scores in general. I think Norway are a very good outfit, very good team. And then for the big fella to step up and score 2, I was like, okay. He's not only ready to play, he's here to show everybody, I'm the main man. And I said this at the start of last season. When you write off a player who scored 37 goals and we said it was a bad season, that just shows the level that this guy is at. And for me, opportunity on the world stage with a decent team, I think he's going to be right up there for the Golden Boot.
He's also had such a humble approach. I've seen them try to, bait him with some questions about, Messi and Ronaldo, you scored this man. He goes, those guys have been doing it for years at the World Cup. Now is my time to prove. And I love a player that has a chip on his shoulder. And to Troy's point, I think Norway is really underrated, but just globally. Everyone thinks it's only about Erling Haaland, but if you watch them play, they have really good pieces. And they fit exactly what he wants to do. They still have to figure out with Sorloth, where he's going to fit in. Antonio Nusa as well, but
Sorloth wearing the 7 is just ugly to look at.
Yeah, no. Doesn't fit.
He's a good player, but I don't want to see him with a 7.
Doesn't fit.
Yeah, and I think when you look at Norway, the reason why they sort of get underrated is because they haven't qualified for a major tournament since 2000. So finally get to see them on a stage like this. I've gone for, honestly, a boring answer, but it's sort of the answer that you can't really get bored by, and that's Lionel Messi. And we talked about, obviously, the performance that he gives, especially considering something going on off the field as well for him. But in terms of on the field, he is still every bit as good as Lionel Messi that we've seen for decades now. It's been 20 years that we've seen this guy play at this level. You can run out of superlatives. You can say that it's boring. You can say that, we've seen this before. But my God, is it amazing to watch. And honestly, there was a small part of me that was like, well, he's been playing in MLS, and he's still been dominating in MLS. And I have seen these performances in person go, well, that looks like Lionel Messi to me. But it is a different level of competition to show up at a World Cup against a pretty decent Algeria side and score 3 absolutely fantastic goals. I think is demonstrative of the fact of he can still do it. He can still perform at this kind of stage.
It's amazing how important he still is to Argentina as well, right? I think you made a point on yesterday's show, not to compare Ronaldo and Messi again, but like what Ronaldo brings to Portugal, we're talking about that could be a problem. What Messi brings to Argentina
is central to them.
Exactly. It's crucial to what they're doing. And you could have a bigger conversation if they need to find somebody there, but it is pretty special that he's able to pull that out.
Yeah, and he gets the hat trick for Argentina as they beat Algeria. And then finally, in terms of superlatives for the first round of games, we've gone for our worst team that we've seen so far. These are the worst rated by our friends at SofaScore. Obviously, teams that have all lost: Curacao, South Africa, Tunisia, Paraguay, and Uzbekistan. I think the Uzbekistan one is probably a bit harsh.
I thought Uzbekistan weren't bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Sort of impressed me in that match against Colombia.
I also think as well to put Curacao there against Germany, one of the powerhouses. I think you've got to put Paraguay down there. Paraguay were coming in with more hope and expectation, but yeah, SofaScore got it wrong again. What's new?
I mean, Curacao, you're not taking into account the fact that they're, it's sort of, you're not weighting against expectations, just how they performed. And we give away 7 goals. It's going to be a rough one.
Okay.
All right. So who was the worst team for you then of the first round of games, Troy?
I think we'd have to look at Spain. I think you'd have to say the underrated, most disappointing team so far. Came in as one of the favourites. Again, 27 shots they had in the game. I didn't really feel like, you should score that. The keeper wasn't under massive pressure. Every save the keeper made was like, okay, fair enough, you should have made those. And it left me with a lot of questions. Again, I know we go back to the previous World Cup, Saudi beating Argentina. It was like, whoa, that's a massive upset. But Argentina were like, okay, we got loads to do. This one just worried me.
Mm-hmm. I went with Portugal. Just because I have so many question marks around the team. They always come in, everybody puts them on such a high pedestal because of their technical ability, and I'll give them that. But after that first showing, I have question marks around, obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo, Roberto Martinez, for can he make the big decisions? Do they have runners in behind, even the midfield? After the goal, they created nothing. They didn't create anything. So it's not like the Spain game where they had opportunities or, all right, the ball didn't go in. There's a great goal game. No, they were not creating enough. How does he start in the next match against Uzbekistan? Do you still go with Ronaldo? Even Bruno Fernandes, his position. Do you go with Leao and Conceição to give you the speed? I have so many question marks around this Portugal side that, as I mentioned, every World Cup cycle, people say, they're going to win it. They're going to go all the way. But they never form that group. They never seem to get that harmony.
And then the team that I've gone for as my biggest disappointment is Turkey. And certainly relative to my expectations, they were the team that actually picked to finish top of Group D. I had them finishing above the United States at the start of the tournament. There was so much expectation around the good, talented players they have, Goulet and Yildiz and Çalhanoğlu. They've got some really good players in that team, and Australia completely held them down. And we talked about pot shots earlier in the show. They took 15 from outside of the penalty area over the course of the game. They just couldn't get through Australia, so they were disappointing for me.
Who did you put at the top of that group? Do you remember?
Turkey.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you put Paraguay.
No. Turkey. I think I went Turkey, Paraguay, America. Yeah.
I was surprised too. Shocking result.
And the U.S. obviously topped that group now. But coming up, we still have much more World Cup coverage on the way. Stay with us. We're covering this tournament all day long.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me.
Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events.
It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days, but the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game, change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Our second game of the day in the FIFA World Cup. Switzerland taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina. And these are the teams. Troy, why don't you take us through the Switzerland side?
Yeah, again, a Switzerland team that for me needs to have a bit more control of the game. When I fit back to that Canada game, Canada were running all over them. Never really had too much control. It's a big day for Akanji and Xhaka for me. Akanji made mistakes again, not really giving you that feel of a proper centre-half, which he used to be. Granit Xhaka, for me, has to use all his experience, slow the game down now at times, and also realise in that moment when to pick up the speed and go forward early. It's got to be back on Embolo up top. Again, the big striker. Scored a penalty, but wasn't great for me. And Ndoye on the left-hand side. I need to see more end product. He gave a lot of hard running, going to different spaces. But I need to see a little bit more end product from him. But it's a good, strong team. That this is going now into that awkward moment where you feel like you have to win games. And this is one there for Switzerland.
Now, Marco, let's talk Bosnia and Herzegovina. The headline changes: Esmir Bayraktarovic to the bench and Edin Dzeko into the starting 11.
Yeah, absolutely. No introduction needed for Edin Dzeko, top goal scorer in the Bundesliga and in Serie A. He's the soul of this team. Was dealing with that injury, so wasn't able to play in the first game. But I also love Alija Begovic starting in this match. He is absolutely electric, really good in 1v1 positions, can help them as well if they have to go in on the counterattack. And then the back line, we remember the saves that Kolasinac made was unbelievable. And Muharemovic, a player that we've been able to cover all year long, playing at Sassuolo. I think he is a top defender in the making. Puts his body on the line, will do anything to stop the goal. So, said it before that this is a lot of sneaky talents in this Bosnian team. They're self-aware of what they need to do. They fight for each other. They're a proper team. And again, watch out for some of that talent on the wing as well.
Yeah, just looking at that as well. My old teammate Ivan Sunic has gone in there, so it looks like they've changed from having a team that was trying to condense against Canada and hit on the counter-attack to now we're going to try to take the game to this Switzerland team. That's why I think Dzeko's in there. Got to get a lot more crosses in the box, so it should make for a much better game as well, attacking-wise.
And for more on this game, let's bring in the former Bosnia-Herzegovina international, Esmir Begovic, who's kind enough to join us. Esmir, thank you so much for joining us. What do you make of this group and the fact that it is Dzeko from the beginning of this one?
Well, great to be with you, gentlemen, as always, first and foremost. And I think it's an exciting game. I think it's a very interesting game. Group that was incredibly wide open going into this World Cup is still wide open after the first round of games. And, it's going to make for an interesting round of games today. Even with the game in Vancouver later, I think there's a lot to play for. And I think the first game for Bosnia was really positive. I think to get the point in a really difficult environment in Toronto against one of the host nations would have been an incredible atmosphere there for the Canadians. So I think for them, it was a really positive point and a good performance to build on and hopefully take into this game.
Asmir, we spoke before that game, and obviously you said it's important. It was an important point to not lose and get your footing into the World Cup. That lineup to me suggests that the manager has seen that they could be a bit more adventurous going forward, and will need to do that. And obviously, you can then change back and get a bit more defensive as and when they need to. How important is it to have Edin Dzeko there, not only as his leadership and experience, but the quality and that know-how as someone that can score goals?
I think it's really important, Troy, and I think he's not played much football. That's the biggest worry. He's not played in a month. How fit is he? How ready to go is he? That's a big question. But obviously, he's at an age where he knows his body, he knows what he needs to do and how to play the game and how he can contribute to the team. I think his presence as well within the team is big on the pitch. If they're looking around for a bit of leadership or in difficult moments, he's someone that can bring the team together as a collective and get him through those moments. So I think he's really, really important. And somebody, if they can get those crosses in the box, as we know, it's a big thing for Bosnia, and set plays as well, he's going to be a massive danger in the box. He's someone who can finish those chances. He's one of the deadliest people in the box, as we know, for many, many years. He only needs a chance, and I think if that ball finds him in the box in any way, he's going to capitalize on that and give Bosnia hopefully the edge today. So having him back is a huge deal.
How do you think they shape up tactically against the Switzerland team? Do you see it being any different to the match against Canada?
Marco's going to be hugely different. I think, as Troy said, Ivan Sunic coming back in gives him another player who can get on the ball if they get a bit of possession. This team, as we've seen with Sergei Barbares, they know who they are. They're very happy to be compact. They don't need the ball for the majority of the game. I think they're very happy to be compact, to be a threat in transition, be quite direct when they have to be, and rely on set plays. 7 draws out of 9 games will tell you that story. Very difficult to beat, but we don't have that attacking flair and the attacking talent to break teams down either and score many goals. So I think it's going to be another tight game. I think they're very happy to keep it tight. Switzerland should dominate possession, especially with the likes of Granit Xhaka, who loves to get on the ball and make things happen for Switzerland. So I think they're quite happy with that. Going to be compact, and then rely on those moments when it does get into the box, and rely on the likes of Edin Dzeko to try and make it count when they can.
Yeah, just looking at the team again, a former teammate of mine, Ivan Sunic, who is an absolute beast when it comes to breaking up play, getting around the pitch. How important would it be for him to be able to cover 2 positions? Because it looks like, again, you're going to have a bit more of an attacking threat. You need those kind of energizers in the team to do 2 jobs or 1.5 jobs from a defensive unit as well. And he's done so well at Paphos in the Champions League as well this year.
Yeah, really important. I think he's someone who can definitely get around the pitch, and he's been really important in the whole qualifying campaign, and he's a key player for the team. One of the interesting parts of Sergei Barbaros's team selection is that he only picks one of the talented young wingers. In the first game, he picked Baraktarevic, now Alabegovic. So he's obviously looking at Memic on the other side, whichever flank it is, to almost even things out. He can be very conservative in his team selection. So I think having those runners, having those legs in around midfield, especially for, listen, I love Edin to bits, but he's 40 years old. You don't want him to run around too much. So off the ball, he's not going to maybe give you too much pressing, and you want to try and keep him fresh when you do have those attacking moments. So I think there's plenty of legs within the team. Once again, I know they know what kind of team they are. They're very structured. They're very compact. They like to be that way, and there are plenty of workers and legs in that midfield to make that happen.
Asmir, real quick for me, you know when you just said there that the manager doesn't want to put both young, talented wingers on. Why is that?
Well, it's given him a level of success, Troy. I think so. He's been consistent with that sort of team selection. I think also what it does, it gives him something off the bench. We mentioned after the Canada game, as the game went on, Bosnia was struggling. Canada became a bit stronger. He doesn't have a lot of attacking options off the bench. So the fact that Haris Tabakovic, one of the other big target men, center forwards, is back as well in contention. So that's a big help. But I think it gives him another option as the game goes on. It's going to be quite warm in Los Angeles, I would imagine. So I think the substitutions are going to play a key part. So it gives him someone to bring off the bench and bring new energy to the team as the game goes on.
How impressed have you been with the traveling Bosnian fans? I think one of my favorite things has been the videos and everyone's reaction to seeing the support. What have you made of it?
Oh, I mean, it's amazing to see, and doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Those fans are some of the best fans in the world. Really lucky to play for them, and in front of them many times. I represented them on the global stage. They will go anywhere for the game, and they've dominated many neutral sites. Many of our away games, they made it into home games. So I'm not surprised one bit. And I think it's just amazing to see the team back on the stage and giving them this joy and allowing them to travel in numbers again and support the team like they do.
Love it.
And Asmir, that actually takes us neatly to break because the fans have been absolutely fantastic once again going into the stadium in Los Angeles. We thank you so much. We want to show you the pictures of what it looks like outside of the SoFi Stadium right now as those fans are entering the ground. This is what it looks like. We got the incredible noise of this support getting into the ground. Absolutely fantastic stuff. SoFi Stadium is the venue for Switzerland and Bosnia and Herzegovina. We'll have our betting preview of this one next.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Not far away from kickoff of Switzerland and Bosnia and Herzegovina from the SoFi Stadium in Southern California. Should be a fun one. We saw the Bosnia fans coming into the ground. Let's get straight into our betting preview with our man Buckets, who thankfully we are not asking to chug a beer today. Buckets, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to go straight into our parlays for this one. We're picking a result and an anytime goal scorer or assister. What do you got?
Got a bit of a cheeky one here. Switzerland to win the match, but my to score or assist is going to be a Bosnia player, Emerdin Demirovic. I'm a big Bundesliga fan. I watched him all season long at Stuttgart. Had a really poor first match, but I'm expecting him to bounce back in the second.
Yeah, usually when you pick a conflicting result, or a conflicting goal scorer from the result, that increases the odds. So it's plus 690 for that same game parlay. Marco, what have you got for this one?
Yeah, so I have a similar result, and I was actually looking, too, for a Bosnian player to go with as well, but then I switched in the last moment. So I have Switzerland to win, both teams to score, and Mbolo to be one of them that gets the goal or assist. I think he'll get there in the end, and I think Switzerland have more quality than Bosnia, but Bosnia is going to score in this match.
I've actually gone for the same one as you, so we have both gone for a plus 120 to either score.
He's
or
laughing
assist.
at us.
Oh, he's laughing at us.
All right, expert.
What are you laughing at us for? Troy, what have you gone for?
I just want to hear Troy's.
Why are you laughing like? Why mine? I'm doing okay. I have gone for a draw in the game, I believe.
Which is a safe bet. 10 draws from 25 games of the World Cup.
Yeah, and enjoy any time. So if I get that, it's 1,044.
Wow. That's solid. Very good odds on his. I like that one. That's a good one. I can see a 1-1.
What are you going to say now, Buckets?
I'll wait till the game's over, then I'll say something. Either good or bad. Either good or bad.
Do me a favor. Have another drink.
He never got the first handle now.
Buckets, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you ahead of our 6 o'clock kickoff, which is Canada against Qatar. That'll do it for us here at the build-up to this one. Enjoy Switzerland and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Here are the Swiss fans going into the ground. It should be a fun one. We'll talk to you at halftime and after the match as well.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation?